Alright, so I'm not sure how this video is going to turn out because the lighting is just really weird. The outside lighting that I try to get to compensate because I don't have my big lights, coupled with the chandelier light and the shadows, so it might be messed up, so I'll try to fix that up as the best I can. But today we're going to talk about a Nintendo 64 game, a Dreamcast game, a PlayStation 1 game. It's Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. I first got this on the Nintendo 64, and then later got the superior version, which was on the Dreamcast. Now, the thing that sets this game apart is the sense of speed. It is really fantastic. Sense of speed was amazing. The control is really good. The graphics were top-notch for the time. In fact, I remember playing this on the 64 and just going, how are they fitting all this on a little cartridge? Because as you remember, the Nintendo 64 cartridges started out at 8 meg, and that's not very big. Like the largest cartridge they had was 32 megabytes. Now that is small in comparison to today's games, which take up literally over 100 gigabytes for a game nowadays. But what made this game special was the sense of speed, the graphics, the setting, the Star Wars settings. There was lots of voiceover in it. You had great control over your ship. You could, turn normally right and left. You could flip your ship sideways to get a more sharp turn and fit through narrow corridors. The sound was amazing, so it had the typical Star Wars sounds, and the settings were all based on Star Wars settings, and it was just a fantastic game, and for the time, absolutely loved it. So I had this for the Nintendo 64 to begin with, and then when the Dreamcast version came out, I got that because it was the superior version. It was good. So this game, I would give it, and you gotta remember when you're grading a game, when you're putting a score on a game, it's not like it's a great game so it gets a 9. Oh, another great game comes out, well, since this one got a 9, this has to get a 9. No, every game is based on its own merits and the time frame it was released, what it did for the genre, what it did for gaming. At the time this came out, it was actually pretty dang good. And so for the time that it came out, I would give this game a 7.5 to an 8. I'm going to go with a 7.5. The cool thing is that there's a company that releases these old games, these old Star Wars games. They remaster them and they stick them on the Xbox or the Nintendo Switch or whatever. But the thing is, what they do is they clean up the graphics and they stick it at 60 frames. And it is pretty dang awesome. Because I love retro gaming, I love going in the past and playing old games. And this one was just a fantastic game. The Nintendo 64 version, I had it for a while, I liked it. And then when the Dreamcast came out, if you know, I'm a big fan of the Dreamcast. That is one of my all-time favorite systems. The Dreamcast was amazing. I mean, when it died, I cried. I was so sad that the Dreamcast failed because it was such a good system that did everything correct from the get-go. And the problem was they had just burned their customer base too many times. The Sega Genesis did great, and then they did the Sega CD, which they supported pretty well. But then they did the 32X add-on, which didn't make sense. But then they did the Saturn, which they didn't support. And so then when they released the Dreamcast, everybody was just like, no, you've already burned me twice, I'm done. And the sad thing is the Dreamcast was actually an amazing system. Just an absolutely amazing system. But Episode 1 Racer, I'd give it a score, like I said, 7.5. It's worth playing even today. So if you can get a remastered version on your Switch, on your PlayStation, on your Xbox, it is worth checking out. Fantastic game. But I was kind of happy when I hit that random button and that popped up because I really love this game. This game has a lot of good memories for me. Has the same kind of memories that like Wave Race 64 has for me. And kind of in that same vein of good times of gaming. And the Episode 1 Racer at the time, whether or not you like the movies, which I enjoyed the movies. They're not as good as the originals, but I did enjoy the movies. So I wasn't this hater of, oh no, you can't redo the Star Wars like that. That's just dumb. I actually liked the Episode 1, 2, and 3, but I didn't love them. But I really liked them. But the video games they made off of them were actually really good. So I liked that. So give this game a try. Check it out. Whatever system you're on, try it. It's a fun game. Just a really fun game. And it is fast. The sense of speed in this game, they did a really good job with. So that's my retro game for today. So go check it out, play it, enjoy it. And then next time I'll hit random again and do another video. See ya.